You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I'm your host, Stephanie O'Day. What if I told you that you could truly have the life of your dreams, the life you've always wanted, one filled with abundance, joy, and a sense of purpose? It's absolutely possible, and I see it each and every day with my coaching clients. It all starts with learning how to slow down. You deserve to live the life you've always dreamt about. Let's get started. Hi there, Slow Down Society. Steph here, and welcome to another episode of the Slow Living Podcast. Today, we are going to talk about self-sabotage. So we are on episode 92, which means I've been recording for quite a while. So if you are here for the first time, welcome. I'm thrilled you are here and are joining us. I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a review, leave a voicemail at stephanieoday.com/podcast. There's a voicemail button. You can email me. You can answer, you can ask any questions, and I will try my hardest to answer them. And today, that's what I'm going to do. I received a listener question through my email, and this woman wrote to me, and she said that she feels like she's having some difficulty with self-sabotage, and she wondered my thoughts on it and how to sort of move forward. And I'm going to share some thoughts with all of you to see if maybe these ideas feel like, I wonder if that's why I feel stuck, that maybe deep down inside I'm somehow sabotaging myself in some way. And so again, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I think you are all amazing and wonderful, and I feel so grateful that I've been doing this for 92 weeks in a row, and you're here. So thank you again. Okay, so this was the email. I'm just going to read it to you. Hi, Steph. I wanted to ask you about self-sabotage and whether or not you think it's a real thing. Every time I start to move forward and get a bit of success towards my goals, I end up stopping. Why am I doing that? Okay. So first off, I want to address that you are absolutely and most certainly not alone in doing this. This is what humans do. Humans are fickle. We get a really good idea and we get excited and we get a bit of a dopamine rush that, ooh, this is it. This is the thing I've been searching for, and I'm going to do this. And no matter what, I am going to do it. And then all of a sudden we just stop and we give up and we don't follow through on the plan that we've decided on purpose to move forward then. And that just happens. It's just sort of human nature. And so I don't want you to spend too much time beating yourself up. But once you have adulted for a while, you can start to see patterns in yourself. And so I just want to thank you for taking the time to write in and for asking such a thought-provoking question, because I think a lot of people think that maybe they've got an issue with this and maybe this is the thing. And even if they've identified that they happen to be someone that stop starts, or start stops, I guess is what it is. Start, stop, and they have an issue of feeling like they're on the perpetual hamster wheel and they're going and they're moving and yet they're just not actually getting anywhere. This will be helpful. So I first heard of the term self-sabotage in my early 20s. I was young and I was full of optimism. And so the idea of self-sabotage wasn't a thing for me. I had the major that I wanted to do all laid out for me, and I just needed to check things off a list. In my work, I was working in social work and for the county at the time. and my day-to-day work and life was mapped out for me. And I didn't actually have to think or decide on purpose what to do. I just sort of checked things off the list. And because of that, I went to this writing conference on how to write a nonfiction book proposal and find a literary agent. The people who were talking about self-sabotage, it just seemed so foreign to me. Like no kidding, you just do what you have to do. Like what like, why is this even a thing? It was just so foreign to my young, naive brain. And then fast forward 25 oddish years, I feel this so deeply in my bones because humans need at some point to break away from the checklists and the to-do lists and the this is what you do no matter what, because real life happens, and it's not going to be this same cookie cutter approach no matter what for all of the people in all of the places and all of the towns and all of the countries and all of the socioeconomic backgrounds and all of the races and all of the genders and all of the things. It's not going to always be the same. And that doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It just is what it is. And so the drive to keep making forward progress on your long-term, both personal and professional goals, it has to come from within. It can't come from an outside checklist or a to-do list that someone has just handed to you. That's just not how it works. So in episode number 54, so I don't know, good 40-ish episodes ago, I recorded one called Smart Goals Are Stupid. And I still wholeheartedly stand by that assertion that SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, action-oriented, results-oriented, on a timeline, those type of goals end up being stupid because you feel like you've failed if you haven't done it in this formulaic way. And that's just not how it works in the real world. So I am a dreamer. I have big, huge, honking, hairy, audacious goals. And I envision them and I daydream about them. And I get to the point where I can see them and taste them and feel them in my bones. And then it just sort of comes a no-brainer that if I just kind of lean into them a little bit, they come true. So that's the evidence that I have when it comes to great, big, huge, kind of scary goals. I just lean into them and take teeny tiny baby action steps every day. And what happens is you get this kind of uncomfortable feeling when you're in the middle of it. And I recorded episode number 67 called The Messy Middle. And a lot of times when you're making forward progress, it's a mess. So think about when you're cleaning the garage or you're cleaning the attic, sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. And you have to know that. You have to understand that that's going to happen. And the magic happens when you understand, okay, I'm just in the middle of a mess right now. I'm just in the messy middle. But it doesn't mean I'm going to pack up my toes and go home. No, I'm going to keep playing. I'm going to keep experimenting. I'm going to keep taking teeny action steps towards my goals. Not a SMART goal. I'm not going to put a timeline on it. I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't have 6-pack abs in the next 30 days. No. I'm just going to do the things slowly, steadily, thoughtfully, methodically, and sustainable. And a big portion of that boils down to mindset. So I want you to know that I believe whatever your goal is, it's achievable. It's possible. I believe that you possess incredible potential and your dreams are absolutely both valid and attainable. So the reason I say this is because many times the reason humans, people, don't make forward progress is because they don't actually deeply believe way down in your toesy woesies that you're actually moving forward and that your goals and dreams are attainable. So think about that. I want you to really kind of maybe pull out some journaling paper, and whatever your goal is, think about whether or not you can see yourself there and imagine that this has already happened and it's just an inevitability. So when you believe your goals are inevitable, nothing is going to kind of shake you. You just sort of keep moving forward towards it. And often self-sabotage, it's rooted in this sort of subconscious belief that you don't think what you want is achievable. So for instance, I'm 5 feet. Let's just say I want to start playing basketball, and I want to be a professional basketball player. So I can say that, and maybe I can take a basketball lesson at the local rec center, and maybe I can watch a lot of basketball on TV, and I can start reading about basketball, and I can listen to basketball podcasts. But I don't actually really believe I'm ever going to be super good at basketball. I just don't. It's not part of my thought process. I can't imagine myself ever caring or wanting to be really good at basketball. It's just not my thing. So it's not even worth having as a great big huge dream or goal and that kind of thing. So when you think about whatever it is your big goal is, if some people come to me because they're trying to lose a whole bunch of weight, and so we work together towards that, but you have to have that end goal and vision in mind, and it has to really feel attainable, achievable, and something that you can foresee happening. The how it's going to happen, don't really get kind of stuck in that right now. That's what happens when you kind of go quiet and you start asking yourself some really good questions. Okay, self, well, how? If I want to lose 45 pounds, what is the next best step to take? And then just go quiet and just listen, and your subconscious will bubble up with that answer. And so those are your action steps. When you ask yourself a good question and your subconscious gives you that answer, you need to drink 64 ounces of water a day. You need to take 10,000 steps a day. You need to get a good night's sleep. You need to heavily pay attention to your protein and match the grams of protein to your daily schedule. Those are the action steps. Those are the things that you need to do. And then you just need to be consistent and follow up. Episode number 84, I gave an example to one of my current coaching clients, and I asked her to take out a piece of paper and fold it in thirds. And then at the top of each of the columns, I wanted her to write down mindset, and then action, and then consistency. So think about this a little bit and see if it rings true to you of whether or not you believe that you can make this sort of forward progress, and start exploring your inner thoughts and your dialogue that consistently you think about yourself and hold about yourself, and just becoming aware of these patterns. It's the first step that you begin taking towards dismantling them. So think about when you make a mistake or quote unquote fall off the wagon. What is your thought? Is your thought, it's okay, it's not a problem, humans make mistakes, let's get going? Or do you immediately start beating yourself up in your head? Like, God, Steph, you're such an idiot. You always do this. This is why you never get anything done. You're just, this is just so, so think about that. Which holds true to you? Maybe you had a really critical parent or a caregiver or a teacher who is constantly poking at you and like circling your mistakes and your insecurities and shining a highlighter on them and just really making you feel bad about yourself. So that's not going to help you feel good about yourself. That's going to keep you in this sort of loop of starting and then stopping and then beating yourself up again. And I want you to just surround yourself in this kind of pinkish purplish bubble of love and just talk to yourself in such an amazing way. And just know that every day and in every way, I'm getting a little better and it's going to be okay. There's nothing wrong with me because I'm just humaning around, and humans make mistakes. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. If we're lucky, life is long. Tomorrow's another day. I'm going to just keep going, keep moving forward. So I want to give you some examples of, let's see, I'm flipping over my notes here. So in this last episode that we did was on time blocking. So if you think of time management and time blocking and then self-sabotage, what does that look like? Well, it may be that you decided when you're in a good mood and you had a really good mindset that you were going to do these things and you scheduled them out and you were going to do them. And then your self-sabotage may look like the next day when you look at these things, you think, yeah, I am just not doing that. I am not feeling it. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to go become one with the couch and binge watch Bravo. So that then is self-sabotage. And so that may be when you reach out for some help and you ask for some coaching and you ask for some accountability to help keep you on your own game plan, your own action steps. So if you go back and you listen to that episode 84 of the Mindset, Action, and Consistency, if you are in a good place and you created an action plan for yourself, but then you're not consistently doing the things that you promised yourself, you got to go back to mindset. You obviously don't think deep down inside that either you're worthy enough to stick to this plan or you don't really believe that this plan is going to work. And so you've given up and you're not consistent. And so we're kind of back to the drawing board. So take the time to really kind of poke at yourself and see why this is happening on a consistent basis and what you can do to change this pattern in yourself. With health. So let's do a health example. So perhaps maybe you decided on purpose that one of your health goals was to drink a gallon of water every day. And you're going to drink a gallon of water every day. And then you realize drinking a gallon of water every day means I really have to pee a lot. So think about this. Are you willing to put up with the peeing a lot if you think it will help with your health? Or is the peeing a lot a big enough obstacle that you refuse to do the thing you promised yourself you would do? And then you start beating yourself up again. Like, see, this is why you always fail. This is why you always make a mistake. This is why you never move forward. This is why you're just not going to ever make the goals that you want to do, and you're never going to achieve the things you want to do because you can't even drink a gallon of water every day. And I'm just using a gallon of water as an example. You do not need to drink a gallon of water. You decide on purpose what feels right for you and what your own personal health goal is. If anything, if you've been here long enough, I hope you realize that There is literally no one cookie cutter approach to anything that is marketing hype and noise and nonsense and not real life. You've got to adapt all of the things to fit you, your life stage, your health, your wealth, all of those things. A few other examples of when I wanted to give up, but didn't, and so I gave you that the crockpot site example, but also when it came to writing books, and putting yourself out there and feeling vulnerable. I hated, and I still do hate, getting negative reviews. It hurts my heart. I get it. That's part of the process of writing and putting yourself out there is negative reviews, but it still hurts. But if I just gave up and put my toys away and went home every time I got a negative review, I wouldn't get the hundreds of positive reviews and the emails and the pats on the back and the kudos that I do get, and knowing that there's real people out there who are benefiting kind of is helpful. Same with this podcast. I know that there's thousands of people out there listening, and most of you will not reach out to me and let me know you're here. And that's okay. That's just the nature of the beast. And sometimes I can feel alone and lonely, and like, why am I even doing this? It doesn't make a difference. But then every once in a while, I'll get a direct message on Instagram, or I'll get an email, or someone will get on a coaching call with me and say, I've never written to you and I've never talked to you before, but I've been following along quietly for years, and I just want to thank you. And so that's it. So that internal validation, the gold stars have to come from within. And when you find yourself in the messy middle, you have to look for those kind of glimmers of inspiration to keep you forward and sort of drown out the negativity and that self-sabotage. But it's all there because we're humans, and you have to have all of the things when you're living on this planet and going through the human existence. So I want to press that one of the reasons I think that my coaching clients have so much success is that everything is tailored to fit them. And then I help them decide where they're going, where they're going to set their metaphoric GPS. And then I'm here for structure and accountability, and to be like, nope, this was what your plan was, and we're going to stick with it. We're going to do this. So I look at myself and the resolutions that I've had for myself, and the monthly monthly resolutions. So yes, I decided on purpose for my great big huge goal back in 2008 was that I was going to use a crockpot slow cooker every day for a year and write about it online. And I was going to do that no matter what. So I did that when we were traveling. I did that when we were camping. I did that when we were kind of sick and I didn't feel the best and the kids didn't feel the best. I did it on days when the toilets overflowed. I did it on days when I didn't want to do it. But I had the plan. I had the action steps that I told myself I was going to do no matter what. And so I did it consistently every day. I had periods where I didn't want to do it. I had people telling me that it was a stupid idea, that I wasn't a cook, that the food was bland, that it looked gross, that my pictures were horrible, that I was torturing my family. All of this kind of not nice stuff that I had to wade through, that I had to deal with. So when I talk about mindset coaching and the kind of stuff that comes up, I remind myself of my dad when he's cleaning his tropical fish tanks. So he would say, oh, I've got to go clean the fish tank. And I would go look at the fish tank. And to me, it looked clean. But then he would put his hand down in the water and stir up the rocks at the bottom, and all this stuff would float to the surface that he would have to suck out and use the net and clean. So that's the mindset work, is when you decide you're going to do something, all of these thoughts of this, you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, this is stupid, this doesn't even make sense, this is taking too long. That's the mindset stuff that you have to filter, like literally filter if it's a fish tank, out. So think about that, and think about where you're holding yourself up. Because yes, back to the original question that was written in, is self-sabotage a thing? Yes. Yes. If you are making forward progress on your goals, both professionally and personally, stuff will float up that you have to deal with, that you have to sort through, you have to filter. And that's what the daily work is. If you haven't done it already, I highly recommend journaling every day. You can download the for free PDF worksheet at stephanieodea.com/daily, DAILY. I also have a 30 days to a new you journal. I personally do both every day. I like the bound journal. The journal prompts are a little bit different. I like them because I go back and I read them. I have years worth now of these journals, and the 30 days, it doesn't matter if it takes you 45 days, if it takes you 60 days to do the 30 days. Just keep plugging at it. Remember, this is not a SMART goal. This is a life goal. Something that you are envisioning will make you, your family, better in the long run. And so you want to just keep leaning into it and just deciding to take those tiny steps. Let's see, one of the last things I want to share with you is an affirmation. And I want you to really think about this. So we had, let me see, what number was it? Let's see. Scrolling. It was one of the last episodes that I had talked about, and it is changing your internal dialogue. So episode number 88, I just found it, episode 88, sort of shifting your internal dialogue. And so journaling will help with that, and also deciding what affirmations feel good to you, and then just starting to use them. So I'm going to share with you an affirmation on releasing self-sabotage, and just listen to it, and maybe pause this and really write it down and think about it. And in the show notes, I'll write it out for you. But let's affirm after me. I release self-sabotage and embrace my unlimited potential. I am deserving of success, and I allow it to flow into my life effortlessly. I am free to create a life of joy, abundance, and fulfillment. Okay, pretty people, consider yourself loved and hugged. I think you are absolutely wonderful, and I will be back in your earbuds again next week. Do you have a slow living story to share? Leave me a voicemail at stephanieodea.com/podcast with any questions, comments, feedback, or testimonials, and I will be sure to include it in an upcoming episode. Also, if you found value in this episode, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. The more you share, comment, and leave positive reviews, the more people we can reach and share the slow living lifestyle and messaging. Thank you, Slow Down Society, and have an absolutely wonderful day.